this week, Anthony Fauci had to testify before the House panel Monday as newly released transcripts from closed-door interviews with lawmakers show he was stumped on child masking evidence. He admitted to lack of scientific basis for social distancing and claims he was not involved in the NIH grant for the Wuhan lab and denies gain-of-function research occurred. Here's what was...
so here's what it is. He's testifying Monday.
Yes.
So he said, and what you're referring to, Rachel, which is something you've covered and we've covered a lot, is that behind closed doors, he admitted...
yes, he did.
Earlier this year, that he didn't really have any scientific reason for all of this. So on Monday, they're going to get a chance to bring him publicly to bear to say, hey, why did you do X if you said Y behind closed doors? So this is from January. We're just getting it now. It's just being revealed from this House transcript ahead of his testimony. This is what the House Oversight Committee asked Dr. Anthony Fauci about masking kids. They said, was there ever a cost-benefit analysis done on the unintended consequences of masking kids versus the protection it would give them? Fauci said, not to my knowledge.
Not to my knowledge. Then Fauci said, I don't recall. It sort of just appeared.
This is on social distancing.
Social distancing. I don't recall like a discussion of whether it should be 5 or 6 or whatever. It was just that 6 foot is, well, did you see any studies that supported 6 feet? That was asked to him. And he said, I was not aware of studies that, in fact, that would be a very difficult study to do. I think it would fall under the category of empiric, just an empiric decision that wasn't based on data or even data that could be accomplished.
So this is, again, as Pete said, this is stuff that's just coming to light, even though that testimony was in January. He'll have to answer for some of that on Monday. And, I mean, those two quotes show you that on 2 very important issues, and I would suggest to you they're not limited to those 2 issues.
No way.
Right.
They're winging it, and then cloaking themselves in the mantle of science.
The experts were winging it all along.
And not just cloaking themselves in the mantle of science. Yeah, claims that he is science, and also censoring anyone that dare question any of the edicts of science, including, in this case, did you do any cost-benefit analysis of masking kids? No. Where'd you come up with 5 to 6? Don't know. It just kind of emanated.
Well, I think the real question will be the most important, although I don't want to minimize the masking of children, which I think was absolutely cruel and tyrannical, but the involvement of the U.S. government, the NIH, in funding, even if they did it in a backdoor way and sort of tried to launder it through EcoHealth, his friend's company, if there was an involvement of the U.S. government in the funding of gain-of-function research at the Wuhan lab, there's no way that something that huge could have happened without his knowledge. And if he did that, and then he didn't alert everybody about the U.S. involvement because he kept saying it was a bat and it was this and it was natural, so that it would get everyone off the trail of the lab that I think we probably funded this research, then, he is actually responsible for the millions of deaths that occurred. We should not be doing these dangerous experiments.
You know how he gets around it? Staffers from the House panel say that Fauci claimed he did not recall information more than 100 times. By the way, smart on this House committee to hold on to the transcripts until a day or 2 before the hearing so that the public covers it, and then he has to answer to it as well.
Yes, I think that's good.
He should.